Hey there everybody, it's Wayne D. Welcome to the website. It's WayneD.com, and today we're going to be looking at the golf swing of 25-year-old Sam Burns from my alma mater, LSU. Sam's been on the tour since 2019. He's got 3 wins this year. He's, I think, second in the FedEx Cup. Let's take a look at a couple of these swings. Got a good face-on view on YouTube. The camera's moving just a hair, but this is a nice slow-mo swing of a 3-wood tee shot. And then here's another swing on a par 3. One of the tournaments that he's won this year. So if you look at Sam's stats, he's a great putter. 9th overall last year, 10th this year. And he's also an excellent ball striker. His 11th approaching the green in strokes gained. And he averages about 310 off the tee, so he's also long, 6'1" or 2", 185. Good athlete. So that all adds up to a lot of birdies. And with 3 wins, you know, it's tough to win out there no matter what you're doing. So guy knows how to win. So a couple things that are interesting about his swing. Obviously hits the ball really good, so we'll see a little downward movement if you look at it down the line, and then when we look at it from face on, we're going to see a classic early set. You don't see a whole lot of early setting. In an early set, that means that from address to P2, the end of the grip is not even going to pass the side of the right leg. So normally you would see the grip end out here with extension. So with the club setting early, he's now going to retain that set. It's not going to really increase it a whole bunch, but he's now going to stretch and get wider as he gets to P3. So there's all sorts of ways to get to P3, and he just has chosen one where he gets the club head moving with his hands first, and then you can kind of see how the shoulders, that little push down move is going to depress and relax the shoulders in here. Now that's the opposite of what you see a lot of poorer ball strikers do. When you'll see those trap muscles up there, they'll hunch and come up and the neck will shorten, but Sam's going to stretch down. So it's interesting, there's an old book by Percy Boomer called On Learning Golf, and he talks about the feeling of having a downward feeling in the arms with the chest feeling like it's more up. In that case, the shoulders would be stretched toward the ground. Now you'll see he does lower a little bit, and you'll see that downward movement is going to involve additional flex in the knees. And normally when you flex down in the knees, you'll gain a little hip flexion and a little depth in the right hip. Now the good news, a lot of guys will sit like that a little bit, but they'll back their head away. But look where Sam's got his head right out on that forehead line. So once he gets that initial push down to here, he's going to stabilize, he's going to maintain that height. Then you'll see in the downswing, he doesn't have a whole lot of down after that, maybe just a touch. Maintains most of his depth. You might think that right leg is a little out, from under him. And when we watch the, let's get rid of some of these lines. When we watch the progression, it's going to start here with those low hands. Going to get the club right up on plane. Now, something that I always like to teach is opening the face of the club so the toe is up. I have a couple of swings where you can see it a little more clearly. I'll show you those, but you know that you get the club face, you can see it much more there. So that's forearm rotation. Club's nicely on plane at P3 and really nice at the top. Nice flat left wrist. It's got a neutral grip. You can see the right hand is like probably a touch weaker than some. Left hand grip not overly strong either, so when he flattens the wrist, the face does not look shut. And there's the OTT move, the slightly outward hand movement over the top. He's going to bring that shaft out and he's going to bring the hands out and let the shaft bend back. So the shaft is back here now. You can see that left wrist working into flexion here. He's going to come in, you know, a little high to low, so you would expect him to maybe favor a left to right shot. Very strong through the ball. Sort of average tempo, not overly fast, but not one of the slow guys. So let's watch from the front. There's that early set with the press into the ground. So he's really going to be nice and wide at the top. Here we see that angle with the back behind the ball, usually about 10 degrees. And you'll see definitely a right load. So the hips stay nicely in the box. I think the camera stops moving. Now this is also a big key in the forward swing. If we watch the transition, here's the head, hips. So that's the movement that I'm constantly trying to get people to get the students to do, is that feeling of pushing. Once that rotation changes direction, remember you got to go obviously from clockwise. We got to reverse that back to counterclockwise. But when we do that, we've got a nice braced sensation on the inside of that right foot, right leg braced in. So the impetus to go from right to left is going to be delivering a push or force back behind, and we got to get that lower leg to move. So you can see how that's moving right away. Now when it does move, the right leg is going to be rotating back forward. So from down the line, he's going to add that knee flex right at the takeaway as a trigger. It's going to maintain most of it. It might lose a fraction of it. So if you watch that right knee now, it's going to rotate back around from where it is here. It's going to rotate back this way, but it's not pushing in this direction. That's the big key to that rotation. It's rotating, but it's going to work its way over this way. So that puts those upper leg muscles, those adductors inside. They're going to come together. The glutes are going to squeeze. He's going to have real nice right side bend through that shot. how nice this is going to turn out over here on the face-on view. Get that right arm in there very nicely. So with that width, you see the right arm still over here in front of him, and as soon as he starts in transition, we'll see that right elbow peak below the left. So that right arm is nicely inward. So with the 3-wood, can deliver it slightly descending, so it's not surprising to see the end of the grip past the ball a little bit. And there's impact, how perfect that is. So another example of guys who hit the ball incredibly good, who keep that line of compression past the ball as the face is closing. Remember, that face is rotating closed. It is not trying to block itself to square. That's not how you get that look. And look how open that he's going to get at impact. So that left leg is in the process of straightening as he hits the ball. So not a lot of feet flying around with Burns. He's got a little bit of more stability down there. So let's take a look at, there's a couple more swings we can watch here. So again, you can see that nice compression at the beginning of the swing right there. Early set, kind of medium high at the top. I wouldn't say that's upright or flat. The right arm slightly below parallel to the ground. Really nice position of the shaft. Good depth. And there you can see how that left wrist bending down to square the face. Right arm bent at impact. Leftward exit. And I always like that full release of the left side with that left forearm actually rotating left of the target like that, with the right arm stretched out. Real nice. A little shorter club. Very solid. Alright, that's Sam Burns, and he's on his way to a great season.